I've got to drop in, hope to redeploy, have them whiff the shot, and then hit my one pump after. But in the end, it's just not possible to work on out Boyer and Kripa, the first players to watch in this game. What a dramatic ending to that last one, Lupo.
Absolutely insane. I almost expected at that point, you go for the redeploy and you're going to leave yourself exposed. In a situation like that, maybe just going full send and waiting to the very last moment to try and hit that pump shot, because the closer you are, the spread is tighter on your opponent's. If you're going for a headshot, you look for every chance you can to focus as much damage as possible. Waiting for that last second hit might have been the play, and if you miss it, then you're going to hit the ground, take the fall damage, and get eliminated anyway. It's kind of a toss-up.
Yep. You can make an argument on either side, sort of thing.
Exactly.
But Boyer now just continuing to peek on out through these edits. They are pre-set up in this zone. 2 Rift-to-Goes, Slurp Juice, Heavy Sniper.
Oh
beams,
my gosh.
Beams, Mishmosh. And you got to think, they want to secure this drop that's about to fall on in. Now I'm surprised they're not building any pyramids, especially when they have, just one layer of floor below them. They haven't done it yet. Here's a look at
Majin, Provoke, Atlantis, and Fnatic here. Opening the wall. Finishing that player. The attempt here, the reason for the finish, Jack, they're not going to get a point for that, but if they're close enough like they are, you get all the mats, you get all the shield.
Yep.
You basically claim the entire pile of loot as your own, since whoever got the knockdown, they don't know necessarily at that point. They're not going to get it. The top center of your screen, 2 of the excellent players from Solary, Hunter and Kinstar. We've seen them in plenty of competitions in the past, and no surprise, here they are today qualifying for today's attempt to make it to New York City.
Yep, the French duo. Scary when they can kick it into gear. A beautifully placed Stink starts tagging both players. And what also that gives Kinstar is not only the damage, but the peace of mind of knowing exactly where those 2 are. It's almost like it's almost like you get like an outline of where they are at all times, because you see their movements. You can tell, they drop down a layer. Now that they're safe, we know they're not in this box. Chewed Up gets beamed right there. They're going to hit the launch pad. And what I like about that from Kinstar and Hunter is there's no hesitation. They don't try to continue beaming that box. They know that there's no way that player can be rezzed with the zone at their back, and now the elimination comes on in because the player's already taking 5+ tick damage of the storm, plus the damage that you get when you're knocked out on the ground. They're going to drop real quick.
Still see a handful of players and ballers rolling around in here. Somebody should close Discord.
As Boyer
landing just on the edge of the storm. Even though you may take the 10 damage to the storm, he's going to go ahead and pop one of the 2, by the way, slurps that he's sitting on. Edits the ceiling in. Scotty gets caught off guard in the elimination here. Another free 50 for the Siphon. That slurp is going to top him off here in a second. Grabs one of the 2 Rift-to-Goes, and Boyer and Kripa still in this. The top-down view on the entire map.
And this is a brilliant time to pop this Rift-to-Go, because look at how many players are remaining in this game. They're nearly at that top 15 for the placement points. You wind up taking that Rift-to-Go, your odds of being shot down and elimed while this is happening on the low ground is much, much lower. So it's the lesser of 2 evils. You go up top, you float around, hope that really no one gives you the time of day to look up top, and instead everyone else just has absolute insanity break loose down low.
It's funny that Kripa and Boyer have landed now. Looks like they're not the top layer. Provoked, Majin have that top down on everyone.
Yep.
Ultimate high ground, but they're in a safe enough spot that they can just rotate in ahead of everybody. They don't have to worry too much.
Top 15.
Inkblad, Marwana with 3 eliminations between the 2 of them. Top 15, like you said, we have placement points coming out. The rocket from above doesn't take damage to it. Still at 150, but it was very, very close, Jack. Yep. Boxing is going to happen here. 105 builds. They're doing great on materials. Inkblad is honestly in one of the better spots from anybody we can see right now. The bottom section of your screen is very, very thick.
There's still so many players left in this one. Majin right now building on up, trying to match these players that are nearby. A nice 119 tag. This inventory stacked on up. Only 3 shotgun shells left. Might have to call for Provoked to drop some on the ground if possible. RPG now reloaded, and here comes the spray up top. They'll make sure they have cover from the low ground. And when you start to spray up top, it forces the players who are floating to try to glide on down quick. That's Boyer and Kripa, who use their second of the rifts. RPGs should begin to rain down low, but at the same time, you think Majin probably knows, hey, I've only got 3 of these left. I want to make sure if I'm going to shoot these, I've got a high chance of getting a limb. Right now, with vision of nobody, doesn't feel the need to shoot them quite yet.
It feels safe enough at this point. They're not really getting challenged on the high ground, so you're not seeing pyramids come out, but an opportunity to save some builds. The branch they're on it's a little bit high up, and it's not held up by much. I was going to say, Provoked notices that as well, starts to drop in. Marwana ticking out there, outside. Boyer gets eliminated. That duo was out. Still a pair from E11. Stompy and his teammate are still in there. Lazy still alive. 8 players, 6 duos total, which means there's only 2 sets of 2. Majin and Provoked have the high ground on everybody, Jack. And the other duo, Low Ground Warriors, down there at the bottom. Every player that's in the middle, all 4 of them, they're all solos. And Incline pays the price, gets caught off guard there. 6 players left, Jack.
It's the 2 duos just like sandwiching everyone and eliminating them right now. But now, Atlantis and Fnatic wind up dropping on in. Provoked and Majin go for it. The RPG hits both. Hawkers by themselves, and there's just no way. Majin, 3 limbs in the final moment right there. It escalated so quickly.
Up difficult cockle good right there. You guys said it was impossible, but that's his actual name. I wrote it down here on the card. But then again, picking up the other player, utilizing that new infantry rifle at the close range, the high rate of fire and good base damage to pick up the elimination, and then they edit back down the resources to make sure they fall in, and they get a rift to go. They get a big pot. Absolutely huge there. And then Glorly does it by himself here.
Oh, the angles.
It's so good, right?
The angles.
Like editing the top wall first to make sure he's only exposing a certain area, and then editing the bottom.
And you have to factor this in mind as well, Sundown. There's like a split moment that they have to come up with that decision, because you have to know, like, hey, my body's going to be over this wall. I need to make this play. Or it's below and I need to make the play.
And that's exactly what it's about. We talk about split decisions right here, and sometimes the player is just directly in front of you right there. Didn't even have a chance to react, and that's when the practice comes down, just all of your aim training, and then sometimes about decision making and knowing which walls you own. A great little 180 there, throwing it back out, putting a trap down to cover himself, and then just check out this cheeky edit play, Golden Boy.
Oh, because he knew that he owned it. He knew that he owned it. He was like, I'm prepared. You think you're safe. I'm going to pop up right there. And that player doesn't know, right? That player's just like, okay, I don't own this, but I need to like be aware. But the element of surprise plays into that individual's hand. And typically you wouldn't think that because you're outside of the storm, and a lot of players would panic at that moment. But to just be so calm in those final moments and just know that you got this. You have this shot covered. That was really, really cool. Some good moments there, without a doubt, bro. Thanks for breaking that down. I appreciate you. Wow. Great matches in the European region. This has been incredible. And honestly, Europe is such a competitive spot that it makes perfect sense that we're getting the caliber of games that we're getting. Remember, only 4 spots up for the European region, and we are going to find out who those players are going to be. For now, let's send it over to the key mathematicians of Courage and Dr. Lupo.
Incredibly talented gamers here we're watching, and some
I thought you were talking about me for a second.
Talented casters are here casting it. That's us, man.
We're not actually
God, I hate myself.
Fortnite, yeah. I'm gonna go cry now. Imagine TC all the way up.
Happy Easter! Hold these eggs. That's what Madsen just said. Dropping them on down. And that's one of the first times we've actually seen the grenade launcher literally used. We've seen far more minigun plays than the grenade launcher in the last 2 days.
You actually commented on it yesterday specifically that it just hasn't. We haven't seen it emerge nearly as many times, but lo and behold, Jack, here we are today.
Yes.
6 elims for this duo, hanging out in the southeast corner of the map here, stuck on the side of a hill. 50 players total, 27 duos remaining, and shots from above, a little bit of pressure, and TC does get knocked. The Stink, why we talked about it before, really, really good at zoning, but it might not be good enough in this moment. We'll see. Madsen might be able to drop down and pick TC up still, and I think he can here, walling off.
Goal, yeah.
Trying to take ownership of all these surfaces, and he does get the pickup.
Now, if you don't really play competitive and you thought people thirst a lot in public games, I'm going to tell you a quick little thing right now. In these custom lobbies, a downed player is like finding a treasure in real life. For me, that would be a double chicken burrito. I am doing everything in my power to get that in my hands and to secure that. That's exactly what we're seeing right here. There it is. The elimination comes in. I think a lot of that was the help from the two players nearby in that box who stopped Toash from being able to be rezzed. Wait, Flint knock? Did you just see what just happened?
7,000
That was 3
IQ.
balloons, Flint knock, to try to fly up to the high ground and then potentially redeploy, but doesn't actually work. But you say 7,000 IQ as Madsen falls to their depth, but Ben, to be able to make that happen, you need to, if they had redeploy, you need to carry a Flint knock, carry balloons, and carry redeploy. So at that point, what do you even have? Uh-oh, this is a scary duo right here, Ben.
Benji
NRG,
Savage.
Benji Fishy, and Mr. Savage M. I remember a famous quote, well, not famous quote. Typically, we say that, you like quote Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
I was going to quote
Back
something I
on
heard
the
from Chap Stream.
Famous? Yeah, right.
Okay, sorry. No, I was watching Chap at one point, and I remember him mentioning how he was like grateful that he said, quote unquote, the 2 best players in the world can't actually wouldn't be able to participate in the Fortnite World Cup. But that was before it was announced that 13 and up could. And he was referencing the duo at the time of Mr. Savage M and Mangral, who are both European-based. Well, guess what? They can now compete because of the updated rules, and they are scary players to watch.
If it was Chap Stream, I'm sure he went and said something positive. Right after that, we see Benji and Mr. Savage pushing their way into the next section of the storm. Ballers knocking down every wall that they're trying to put up, and he catches the player off guard. Inside, the trap goes down. Multiple traps going down. The pickaxe knocked down on Nuck, and the elimination there. That's 5 now for them. 22 teams left. They're looking at placement as potentially the next source of points.
So Mr. Savage M was one of the first players that I really learned this from in regards to always being so in touch with how many materials you have. You will never see an overbuild in some of these walls. Look, the back's being completely covered. Also, he is one of the best players in the world at speed building out those tunnels like you just saw right there. How smooth this build is absolutely insane. You'll see exactly every move is calculated from this player. 170 HP now, 6 eliminations, 1 just came on in. Definitely wants to get more materials here soon. It looks like this will be the opportunity. He's looking for shots. There it is. Can't loot though, but another point on the board.
80 limbs total, 13 now. They're in placement point range. The Storm's still a little bit ahead. They don't have much in terms of rotation, but they still have materials like you wouldn't believe. Only on their brick, still sitting on most likely quite a bit of metal in the inventory. Up top here, catches Rojo off guard. The first elim for this duo. 12 teams left now. 6 minis, only 20 builds left. Starting to burn through quite a few materials, and at this point he's got to start looking for any opportunity to yoink someone on rotation. Speaking of the yoink, there it is. Johansson goes down and picks up the duo, both eliminations. A ton of mats in there, and he's going to duck back out super quick.
That was
up
huge.
to 100 builds.
Yep, that was actually huge to get right there. Now kind of overbuilding towards this next zone, just making sure they can live for as long as possible. Those 2 elims actually secured the top 10 placing for IPSI. Now in the same box as a baller. Thankfully the baller just gets on out of there, which is typically the path it takes. IPSI just hiding for the moment, no shields left. 200 damage pump shot to live to see another moment again in this one. Back up to 121 total builds, and the heavy sniper picked up as well. This is their wall. It's a free elimination right in front. There it is. Now up to 6 total limbs for this duo. Continue to push through for this low ground. Thankfully, it's Wood nearby. There's one player just behind. Oh, no, I thought they had this shot to come on in. It doesn't work out, though, in the end. Prago now stuck outside the zone. Does make it back in time, so won't fall to the storm damage yet.
Just on the edge. He's got 2 campfires in his inventory, an opportunity to top that HP off unless he can get a siphon elim here in just a second, and he might. Goes for the shot inside the box, gets caught with Mel on the inside, but does get that elim.
Get out,
He's got to tunnel his way out. The storm is ticking for so much right now, Jack. 4 players, 3 players, all solos. Limbo in a 1v1 with Heiko down below. It's Prago and Heiko. Prago's got the top down. Very little HP, Jack. He's just going to waterfall his way down. Doesn't want to drop too far.
Heiko's stuck in the zone. He slid all the way down.
He's still safe. The very edge. The bottom right corner of the screen, trying to take tap fire from underneath. Heiko looking to break every branch he can. Prago, the top down, Jack.
Prago's got to place these campfires. Beautifully placed.
Here we go.
Nicely done.
Heiko literally waiting, no builds. He has look at the ammo, 7 medium rounds, 9 shotty shells, and 8 small. That's it. He's got nothing else. Prago just has to wait this out, and he could potentially get the win on a drop in with the pump shot. Here we go, Jack.
This is it.
For all
Prago
the
drop! Heiko with the win! Prago had a redeploy. So at that point, you try to redeploy down low.